two. 1, 2. Check 1. Check 2. And we're rolling. We're live. We're live like never before. Never.
When we have fear in us,
Fear. When we have fear in us.
we lose our solidity. We become
Solid.
very weak.
Fear.
We are much less than ourselves when we allow the fear to overwhelm us.
Mm-hmm.
The fact is that every time a fear is taking us over, we suffer so much.
Fear.
And we have the impression that we are nothing except fear. And fear is always fear of something.
Fear of something. What are you afraid of?
You might be afraid of dying.
Mm-hmm.
You
Dying.
might be afraid of becoming nothingness.
Nothing.
You might be afraid of going insane.
Mm-hmm.
You might be afraid of not being recognized.
I think it's fascinating these Dharma talks where you realize that when you watch them, you realize that everything that is under investigation in psychology or in medicine has already been solved many times, many years ago by these great meditators, people who sit and do nothing. They sit and stop and watch the reaction, watch the body react to the nothingness, and learn from it. Right? It really is fascinating. If you view fear from the position of a second or third party, like this is not my fear, but fear is there, and you observe your own fear, and then you see what perhaps you're afraid of. If it's nothing specific, it could be, as Thich Nhat Hanh says, fear of dying, fear of not being recognized, not being enough in the world, right? And that's how you're moving through your life, reacting all the time to fear. I think it's fascinating stuff when you consider modern medicine that tries to throw a pill and or an injection and or some other newfangled fucking solution to problems that have been figured out thousands of years ago. So good morning, everybody. Welcome to the program. My name is Marcus Gandhi. This is my thumbnail today. There is the fakes, the freezes. Joe Biden has froze several times. Just recently, not in mid-sentence, but freezing on stage where the lights seems to be like the deer in the headlight phenomena, where he's just kind of staring, his arms are limp, and at some point he needs to be guided away. He needs to be told, okay, it's time to go, Joe. The press secretary of the United States, Ms. Pierre, is saying that these are fakes. These are just cheap fakes, man. It's not real what you're seeing, right? Don't believe your lying eyes. And we just saw the two videos. We saw Joe Biden freeze up at the Black convention where everybody was dancing and have a good time, and Joe Biden was frozen. Right, and then and the other incident too, where Barack Obama had to guide him away like a lapdog. Now, this is fucked up because it's fucked up for the main reason that the press secretary, the secretary of press at the White House is saying that what you're seeing is fake. It's manipulated. It's not real. Don't believe your lying eyes. Listen to the Washington Post tell you that it's fake. That's what's going on in the world right now. So politics are heating up. There's no doubt about it. Is there a political reason why the press secretary would tell you that don't believe Joe Biden is having clear and unequivocal senile moments as a sitting president, as he's running for re-election. That's the reality of it. A senile 81-year-old president having senior moments on our watch. He's having senile moments. He's having these freeze-up moments. Now, he hasn't had the big whopper yet, but this reporter predicts that he will. Joe Biden will have the big whopper of a freeze, which is where he's in front of people, and he's giving a talk, right? Because that's I think a truer measure of what's going on in his mind is what's coming out of his mouth. And I predict that we'll see it rather soon, where Joe Biden freezes while he's giving a talk, and he doesn't, like Mitch McConnell did. Mitch McConnell totally froze and had no idea where he was or what he was saying. And you can overhear someone saying, "Mitch, would you like to go back to your room for cookies and milk?" He really didn't know where he was. I think Joe Biden is. I think Joe Biden has already had these moments. I just don't think he's had them on camera where we could see them. And why do we have to wait? Because the press secretary is saying it's all cheap fake. It's nothing. There's nothing to see here. Don't look at it. Right? What's she going to say when it finally happens? Right? This is called lying in the modern age. Right? That's what this is. That's what the press secretary. Oh no, we're just playing politics. We're just. We're not. We're just. We're playing the game. We're playing the game, right, at everybody else's expense. It's called lying. When you know that the guy is having these moments, don't call it fake. Don't call it not real. Say, yeah, that we're having a look at this situation. So anyway, good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. In the chat, how are you, man? Weevil Girl's in the house. Weevil Girl, the amazing Weevil Girl is here. Vinny DiMartini, my lover. What's up, Vinny? Champs is here. Fear Porn, Zoot Suit Cooter is here. TJ from the other side, and the great artist from Syracuse, New York, William R. Hall. Everybody is accounted for. It means we could start. So that was Thich Nhat Hanh. We'll finish out the other part. Right? These people operating out of fear. Let's keep that theme going. So I got a website. My name is Marcus Conte. This is the Morning Report, educational, philosophical, never really political. Is it political to try to figure out if the President of the United States is having senior moments on our watch? I don't think so. I think that's just current events, right? It's current events. It's not really political. And so you can watch the program on most social media: Rumble, Odyssey, BitChute, Facebook, Twitter, Getter, Truth Social, or wherever else you're watching this fine program, or just join us live every morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard. Right here in the great United States of America. We're broadcasting live right to you, wherever you are in the world. If you're watching a rerun, that's okay. If you want to join us live, you hit the live button like all these fine people down here are doing, and we are live. So let's start here. I find this guy fairly interesting. Usher. I know. Who's Usher? Usher is he's a Grammy Award-winning singer, performer. I don't know any of his material. It's not my genre of music. I don't like it. I don't identify with it. But man, this guy's in shape. And whenever someone's really fit like this, right? That's what I want to know. I want to know what he's doing, and we can learn from them. We learn from people. Usher reveals daily diet exercise regimen to maintain fit physique. He drinks pepper drinks and meditates and fasts on Wednesday. Wow, interesting. Usher revealed his daily diet and exercise regime to maintain his fit physique, which included fasting on Wednesdays, canine pepper drinks, and meditation. Oh man, he meditates. This guy's a meditator. Typically, I wake up and I drink celery juice. Celery celery juice. It's hot, man. All the electronics are going fucking haywire, man. You hear the electronics are buzzing out. Be careful, man. It's hot out there. It's pushing 80 degrees already, and we're en route to the 90s. It's going to be very, very hot in the Northeast for the next week. Heat wave. Mr. Usher drinks celery, lemon, ginger, and pepper, and he heats it up. Ooh, wow. So that's one thing he does. What else is he doing? I try to wake up early enough to have a moment of reflection. Some days I may grab a book and read to stimulate my mind. I may sit quietly and meditate. One thing that is frequent practice is yoga. Yoga. It really does help to activate my organs and get my mind moving in the right direction. Guy's 45 years old. He's not a vegan or vegetarian. He eats eggs, scrambled eggs and cheese. So he's got a little bit of fat going on there. He 8-time Grammy winner. That's no joke, right? He fasts on Wednesday because his grandmother used to do it. He doesn't do any. He starts at 11 p.m. the day before at night, and then nothing but water for the entire Wednesday. That's good. That's good practice, man. I dig fasting. It's not something that I do regularly because I'm still like 165 pounds and I'm running, and I don't want to pass out. That's my fear, that if I don't eat by fucking 12 o'clock, I'm going to pass out. I can't go outside, man. But I might try it. I do fast sometimes. Like I'll have a meal and then skip a meal and just drink a lot of water. But I'm not on the complete all day fast. Haven't gotten to that yet. Haven't even tried it. So Usher, fit guy, right? I love stories like this. I don't want to hear about drinking 5 bottles of Hennessy and smoking 8 grams of weed all at once, right? And passing out and banging hookers and banging chicks and punching women in the face. Right? Usher's the right guy, right? Usher's the right guy for the job, right? This is the guy you want to hear, the Grammy Award winning guy. Fit. Right? I love that. I'll always talk about guys that keep themselves fit, men, women. Interesting story right here. Trump supporter says American Airlines flight attendant skipped her drink order because she was wearing a MAGA hat. Huh. So there she is, very, very beautiful woman wearing a MAGA hat. They were in first class, right? She's a journalist, so she's she's creating the news. Is she baiting the flight attendant? Did she say something similar like, "Yo, bitch, give me my drink"? Right? And the flight attendant, there she is. Her face is blotted out. We don't have a shot of her face. But interesting story, right? An avid Donald Trump supporter claims an American Airlines flight attendant intentionally ignored her while taking drink orders because of her red MAGA hat. Right? Heather Mullins, an independent journalist, accused the airline worker aboard her first-class trip from Detroit to Philly of discriminating against her over her allegiance to the former president. There's really no evidence of that. There's no evidence of any of this. Well, there's a first time for everything. Let's look at what happened. I want to hear what happened. Right? So Mullins said that the flight attendant took everyone's order first and dismissed her when the Trump fan questioned why she was being skipped over. And she quotes, "No, I'll be back to you," the flight attendant allegedly told Mullins. "I was the last one to get served." Oh, stop complaining. You're in first class. All right, maybe there was an issue. Who knows? I'm honestly in shock. It's sad that this just happened in America. But so grateful for all the kind people around me saying how awful it was. She did that to me. All right. Well, where's the videos? Where's the videos of any of this? You're a fucking independent journalist and you didn't get the video of the flight attendant snubbing you, and you didn't get the interviews of other people saying that they saw the flight attendant snub you? What kind of fucking journalist are you, man? Is this victim shaming? I don't know. But I'll tell you one thing, man. If I was the flight attendant, I would not skip over her at all. I'd be like, that right there is a beautiful hat. You are wearing one beautiful hat. I'd like to see you take that hat off sometime. So there she is. Believe it or not, I don't know if I believe this story. I really don't. I think you see what you want to see. Stop being a dick on the plane. Stop being a dick. You're in first class, right? Wait for your fucking drink like everybody else, bitch. So another one here. This is an interesting story. Columbia professor told students not to watch mainstream media because it's owned by the Don't watch mainstream media because it's owned by Jews. Is there any truth in that statement? Somewhat. Not all media is owned by Jews. A lot of it is. There are a lot of Jews in media, in press, and in Hollywood. A lot of Jews. No doubt about it. But at a university, again, this is all hyper. This is what's called hyper news, right? Hyper. You see what you want to see, right? The Jew is on alert right now. Ever since the bombing in Israel, right? The Hamas attack in Israel, and the subsequent Israeli bombing of Gaza, destroying it, the Jew in America is on high alert, seeing discrimination and anti-Semitism at every turn of the screw. Everywhere the Jew looks, they see anti-Semitism. Is this one of those? I do think it is. I mean, if a guy says that, it depends on the way you say it, right? Like, for example, if the university professor stands at the board with the black, with the chalk in his hand and says, "Students, please," I'll try again. "Students, it's very important not to watch mainstream media because it's owned by Jews," right? If he said it like that, right, and said, "Is there any questions?" right, that's one thing. But if he says it like a joke, right, don't watch mainstream media, it's all Jews. That's different, right? Isn't it different? Isn't the context of what you say different, right? Or how about somebody wearing a CNN shirt, and the professor says, "Get out of my class. The mainstream media is owned by Jews. Get out of my class." That's different, right? That's denying someone, access to the class, or pushing your position on somebody else. Like a guy in a hospital, a security guard in a hospital, saying, "Get your white privilege out of here, white man. Get your white privilege out of here. Get your white privilege. Get your white privilege out of here." It's the same thing, right? It would be worse, right? So in context, I don't know what the context is. I really don't. Columbia University Task Force investigating anti-Semitism. Bullshit. So let's talk about the real issue in mainstream media is this, right? Look at the fucking picture, right? Is this a still of? Is this fake? No, it's just a video lift, or maybe it's a snapshot, right? Joe Biden, what the fuck are you looking at, man? You're looking up at what? You're frozen, right? He's frozen, right? And like I said, if this happens while he's speaking, it has happened. He jumbles his words. It comes out like a mess, scrambled eggs. Right? When Joe speaks, a lot of times it comes up scrambled. You don't exactly know what he's saying. You listen, you're like, what the fuck is he saying, man? He's not saying anything because his mind is gone. Right? And but when Joe Biden gives that policy speech, when some event is important, when he's the professor standing in front of the class with the chalk in his hand, right, and freezes right, then we're going to have an issue. Then we can't call it fake anymore. All right, so let's look at some of the fakeness that allegedly happened. Here's the video. All right, is Joe freezing? Is that a freeze moment, or is he just so concentrated he can't move? Did he just shit his pants? Did he just get shot up with something that makes him freeze? Or he's just, his mind is he doesn't even know what who am I talking to? I don't know what the fuck we're talking about. His social skill is gone. Look at his hands. Hands limp. He doesn't move. His body doesn't fucking move. And while everybody else is moving, you see the example of. Let's do a scientific research here. Look at all of the other people around Joe Biden dancing and moving. This is normal human behavior. Look at the guy in the middle. He's frozen. Is that fake? Look at the guy in the dress. Even the guy in the dress is fucking dancing. So Joe is definitely, you can interpret that any way you want. I call it a senior moment. I call it a freeze, a public freeze. He's losing his social fucking feel, right? He doesn't realize that that's inappropriate to freeze when you're around a lot of people like that, right? He doesn't get it. So that's real. Is that real? Is that fake? Here's another one. Here he is on stage. He's waving to nobody. He's with Obama. He's with some other guy, and these are Joe Biden's handlers. In case Joe falls that way, it's Kimmel. That's Jimmy Kimmel. And then here's Joe. There's Barack Obama grabbing Joe Biden by the hand. Come here, Joe. Come walk this way. Is this a senior moment? I can't just make sure we don't trip over any fucking sandbags, man. I don't want to fall. I'm afraid. That's Obama saying, you're doing good, Joe. We'll have cookies and milk in the back. Don't worry about it. Everything's fine, Joe. Is that a senior moment? It shows his physicality is breaking, right? He's breaking physically too. His mind is half gone, or 3/4 gone, and his body is fucking. He's definitely got a pamper on. He definitely has like Depends, right? A big diaper. He's got a presidential diaper, right? Oh man, presidential diaper. He's got a wire, right? So he doesn't have to get off stage to take a piss. It's wired, right? They're like the old cowboys. Old cowboys on the they'd have a hose, right? And you remember in what was it, Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid? He had a fucking hose connected to his willy, and he would just maybe Joe. I bet Joe Biden has that. He definitely has he doesn't have to run to the bathroom, and he just has a diaper. He goes, and then his handlers, like Obama, they change his diaper behind the scene. But those are real. So here's the story. Don't believe that, right? Everything that I just said and showed you, don't believe it. Instead, White House makes wrong claim, New York Post, while accusing Post, the Post is trying to get their name in there, misrepresenting videos of Biden freezing up, wandering off. We have the video of the press secretary saying it. Here it is.
There seems to be a sort of rash of videos that have been edited to make the president appear especially frail or mentally confused.
Edited? Did that jerk off say edited video? Those videos are not edited. Those videos are just, they're 2-minute, 3-minute runs. That's not a fabrication. 2 minutes is a long time in a video. 2-minute video is a long fucking run. You get to make it, you have an opinion after 2 minutes. Let's listen to the question again and watch how she handles it.
There seems to be a sort of rash of videos that have been edited to make the president appear especially frail or mentally confused. I'm wondering if the White House is especially worried about the fact that this appears to be a pattern of making more wrong.
Yeah, and I think you all have called this the cheap fakes video, and that's exactly what.
All right, so she's inventing the word cheap fakes. You all called it cheap fakes. Right? She's echoing The press secretary is echoing some, I don't know, some old talking point cheap fakes. These are not cheap fakes.
Call this the cheap fakes video, and that's exactly what they
Cheap fakes is a reference more towards AI generated video and photo, Miss Press Secretary. The cheap fakes slur refers to again, videos that have been manipulated and or created from nothing. AI generated video and photos. Those are the cheap fakes, like the ones of Trump being dragged off to jail, with the police and all. Those are cheap fakes, and they're fun fakes. They should call them fun fakes, not cheap fakes. But she's calling what we just saw cheap fakes. Right? That's not what it is.
They are cheap fakes video. They are done in bad faith, and some of your news organization have been very clear, have stressed that these the right wing critics of the president.
Right wing. So it's what you're seeing, ladies and gentlemen, is a right wing conspiracy to convince you that the president is frail and senile. It's a right wing conspiracy, right? So there's the press secretary of the United States peddling a false conspiracy theory from the podium. Right? Will the Democrats stop at nothing? It seems like they will.
President have a credibility problem because the right-wing critics of the president have a credibility problem because of the fact checkers have repeatedly caught them pushing misinformation.
Pushing misinformation.
Disinformation. And so we see this, and this is something coming from your part of the world, calling them cheap fakes and misinformation. What's
cheap and well, see, you know what it is? We need, in this modern age, we need to be specific. Right? Can you watch the video and tell me what is cheaply fake about the videos that we just watched? Those are the two most recent, the Obama video and the one where he's dancing with the blacks. Those are the two, most recent. If you want to go back even further, there's 10 or 15 examples of him literally stumbling through his words, not knowing what he's saying or miscategorizing things, calling things, making things up. I was in Vietnam when I was a kid. Just stupid fucking things he says.
Quote the Washington Post, where they wrote.
Now, Trump says some stupid things, but most of it is, you know when it's propaganda with Trump. With Biden, he's straight out lying. He's just making stuff up about his own life. Right? That's what grandpas do. Right? That's what you see it in nursing homes. I worked in a nursing home, and you routinely hear people, talking to the dead, having conversations, and you go in there and there's nobody in the room but them having a full conversation with their mother. Right? You see that all the time, right? When they're talking to you and they think you're someone else. They're talking to you like you're their son. And this is not, I don't know if we could call this tragic human behavior, or I think it's just the final stage, right? The mind is in the finalization process. It's resolving all of the unresolved, as Thich Nhat Hanh calls it, fears of our world. The fear you let go of the fear, right? And I think that's what Joe Biden is doing. Joe Biden is in his infinite, in all his infinite wisdom, is receding. Right, he's receding, but he wants to be president again.
They wrote about this, and they said how Republicans use misleading videos to attack Biden in a 24-hour period. And to their credit, we have a conservative Washington Examiner did call.
Watch she quotes the Washington Post. It's amazing.
They said how Republicans use misleading your part of the world, calling them cheap fakes and misinformation. I'll quote the Washington Post.
She's quoting the Washington Post, the most unfucking reliable press on earth, right? The Washington Post, owned by fucking Jeff Bezos. And takes $600,000 from the CIA. Right? The Washington Post, she's referring to as media. Total pay for play, total propaganda. Hit piece. How many hit pieces did they put out on Bernie Sanders when he ran? I don't know. There was like one day they put out like 20 in one fucking day. It's garbage. Wall Street, the Washington Post.
What they wrote about this, and they said how Republicans use misleading videos to attack Biden in a 24-hour period.
So it's Republican and right wingers.
And to their credit, we have a conservative Washington Examiner did call them out as well, calling out the New York Post. Ironically, several recent sheet fakes actually attacked the president for thanking troops. That is what they're attacking the president for.
That's not what they're attacking the president for. They're attacking the president for the obvious fucking behavior that he's engaging in, right? His senile senior behavior while he's on duty. That's what they're referring to. Nobody's referring to anything else. Hold on a second. Get off of me. There's bugs flying. There's bugs. There's flying bugs in it's hot. It's summer. It's hot and the bugs are flying.
Both in Normandy this happened and again in Italy. And I think that it tells you everything that we need to know about how desperate Republicans are here. How desperate
Republicans are, right? So it's oh shit, I lost it. I was saving a bug. I don't like to kill bugs. I just let them out the window. But here we go. We saw all the fakes. Here it is. The White House went on offensive against the Post for calling President Obama's fragility in a series of recent videos, only to make false statements of their own in the process. So the New York Post is a media organization. They could say whatever they want, and if it's reputable and it's believable, people are going to believe it. I certainly believe a lot of what the Post says and reports on. I talk about them all day long. It's my favorite newspaper. Really, if I had to pick a newspaper in the world, it's the New York Post. That's why I'm always here talking about it. Not because I'm a New Yorker, not because of any pay-for-play situation. I just like, and always have liked the spin of the New York Post ever since I was a kid. You grow up in New York, you pick. You're either New York Post or Daily News. I was always New York Post, and New York Post is not Republican. Daily News is not Democrat. It changes, right? It's so anyway. This is we were meant to line up so they could come and then shake all our hands. I don't really have anything to add about this. I just think that it is now a fascinating phenomena where the White House, right? The White House. Oh, we'll listen to Joe Rogan take us out about. He says some interesting stuff about weed. I'm curious about that. I'm curious about what he says. What's going on here? I was looking at the market. We're open. Oh shit, we're open, and we're up. Dow Jones Industrial Average up 45 points. Nasdaq up 12. S&P 500 up 9. Retail sales miss in sign of consumer slowdown. Markets are up. All right, so you're going to probably see a bit of a sell right here. You'll probably see the day go red because of this miss. So I wouldn't. Today's not a buying day. It's up in the morning, but I would imagine by the end of the day we'll end slightly in the red. Not a big deal. What the fuck? Wait, please. What do we got here? GameStop, $23 a share, down big today. Reddit down to 59. Trump stock, Trump Media, $34 a share right now. 34. It was 22, and it was 70. Fluctuating around as we enter this election season. If Trump, I really do think that DJT, the stock, if Trump gets elected president, it has to go up. It has to go up, right? That's his the bully pulpit, right? It's like his Twitter. I'm gonna have to kill this because my computer's starting to freeze because of the heat. I hear my fan spinning in there. What else is going on? So Bitcoin down another 700 today, 64,000. Bitcoin coming down slightly, might be an entry point. I don't know. War, the end. This is the end. And that's really all I want to say about that. Markets are green. That's all that matters. Right? Everything's up. Listen to what Joe Rogan says about. We heard from Thich Nhat Hanh telling us about our fears. But what happens when you put your fear aside? What's left? Right? There has to be joy. All right? Listen to what Joe Rogan says.
Yeah, the smoke weed thing is a weird one because it's like many things. It's completely dependent upon the individual. Like
Yes, it is. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'll let Joe Rogan take us out. Peace.
their individual genetics, their biology, whatever it is that they've had in their past. I know people that smoke marijuana and they're high functioning. And I know people that smoke marijuana and they don't get anything done. And I don't know if they're related. Those two things are related. I think people who generally have drive and discipline, marijuana gives them a break. It gives them a nice just a little rest stop. And I think that's probably beneficial. And I also think it makes you a little kinder, a little more compassionate, a little more sensitive, which is probably very beneficial to someone who's hyper-focused. Like people that are like type A personalities and trying to get things done all the time. You smoke a little pot and you're like, what am I doing? Like, let's fucking relax a little. And then you get back to it. You're all right. I think there's a great benefit to that. But I should also say that it's very popular in the jiu-jitsu world.
Oh yeah, I always thought that had something to do with the kind of creativity part of it, like that you can't plan jiu-jitsu.
Right.
You have to improvise.
Yeah,
it's like jazz.
In a lot of ways. There's definitely that, but it's also the focus thing, that you're only thinking about that. Like while you're rolling, you're really only thinking about rolling. And while you're smoking cannabis and then rolling, you're hyper-focused on it.
And physical strength, you feel fine. You don't feel lethargic or anything.
No,
like
not
that.
at all. I actually enjoy it. I actually
Alive.
enjoy it when I lift weights too.
Oh, I haven't tried that
Yeah,
one.
I feel it. Like I feel it in the fibers. It's almost like I'm more aware of like what's going on instead of like this blunt sort of almost like distance from each individual muscle fiber, which I am normally. Normally, I'm just trying to warm up, and then I warm up, and then I start getting going, and then I, lift light first, and then I work my way up to what I normally use. But when I'm high, it's like